In February, I sold fewer lollipops than I did in January, but I earned more money. So today, let's talk numbers. And also, as working on my business every day continuously changes the way I'm thinking about it, let's talk about that one as well. Let's dig in. So here are the February numbers. Number of lollipops sold, 1,180 pieces. Revenue earned, 2,388 euros. Total number of orders, 9. Out of these returning orders, 3. And new customers, 6. Of the returning orders, all 3 were for resale. Out of the new ones, 3 for gifting, 2 for resale, 1 for both. Promotional boxes delivered, 52. Together with January, this makes 87 boxes. Out of these boxes, I got 8 inquiries, and out of these inquiries, I got 5 sales. I also attended 3 events where I gave out free lollipops. So now let's look into all of these numbers in a bit more detail. The biggest differentiator between February versus January is that most of the promotional boxes that I gave or sent out landed in the end of January. So this means that actually the promo period is mostly like the last week of January till the end of February, and the first half or even 3/4 of January were without any promotion. So therefore I have no real data about how many of the boxes turn to sales or inquiries, but I'm continuing to collect this data during few next months. I still have a goal to deliver 150 boxes till the end of March and have more data collected. But from the current numbers, all in all, I can say that the boxes delivered versus the orders I get is around 9%, which is quite decent. The main thing that did differ was the amount and size of orders. In January, I had 2 small orders and 1 huge one, 1,000 lollipops, which took the price of 1 lollipop down. In February, I had 9 orders, most of which fell between 100 and 500 lollipops, which for me is the most desirable point of sales because it is more concentrated work, but also the price per lollipop is higher. What I liked about February was the diversification. I was not dependent on one big company ordering. I was able to have multiple sales between different companies. So 9 orders is a bit more work than 3 orders in the sense of communication, design, and invoicing. But as I can charge more money per lollipop, then actually I get much more out of these bit smaller orders. So the main insight from the month of February is that bigger numbers are not necessarily better in terms of sales, even though the numbers differentiate just a tiny bit. As I am still a solopreneur, even these tiny numbers are quite important for me, especially in the beginning where I'm still collecting data. Also, what I realized is that smaller orders create a better rhythm for me, both emotionally and in production. If I get more orders, this means that the orders come in a flow during the month, and this keeps my emotional state much more stable. As the orders come in and go out in smaller batches, this simplifies my production process. I can spread it out on more days and longer periods of time, which reduces stress as I don't have to have these really concentrated clumps of production time. This is especially important as I am the one producing and I am also the one doing everything else. So I need to fit all business-related things into the month. And if I have smaller clumps of orders, and between these, I have time to deal with socials or communication or design or promotion, then this gives my month much better flow. About promotion and visibility, I attended 3 events where I gave out free pops. One of them was a very low ROI, but it was more of a community project. I had promised a long time ago to teach local kids how to make marshmallows. So I did that and I took some lollipops with me just to give them out, as I'm strongly believing that human relationships are the most important part of life. Therefore, I really care about being present in the community. The second event was at Estonian Drama Theatre, where one of my scenography productions had its last performance. And I took lollipops with photos of the poster to all the actors and other people who were working on the production. This was just a present from me to them. Theater is still emotionally very important to me, even though I am more concentrated elsewhere at the moment. But also I was surprised that I got one soft inquiry out of there. So even from the most unexpected places, there can come out some kind of visibility. The third event that I went to was the most important of them. I joined the local entrepreneurial club that was established in February. And to the opening event, I took lollipops with their logo, and these were distributed amongst local entrepreneurs who were attending the event. And I also got quite a lot of interest out of these lollipops that I gave out for free. Then about the promo boxes. I gave out 35 boxes in January. Most of them I gave out very late in January. Therefore, I cannot track any data connected to the boxes. But I managed to give out 52 boxes in February, most of them in the first half of the month. That means that I can actually track all the boxes mostly to February, which means 87 boxes. And out of them, I got 8 inquiries, which turned into 5 sales. Very many of these boxes I delivered by hand. I had conversations with different people in different companies about what the product is, what the aim is, what the options are. And this really helped me develop a much better understanding of what I'm selling, what the product is, and what is the thing that my products can do for the companies. I changed nothing in the product. I changed nothing in the production. But what has changed is how I perceive my business. And actually, I think this is the main takeaway from these past 2 months, where I have every day worked on the business. I have put on the hours, I have put on the research, but most importantly, I have put out the real physical work of making the promotional boxes and delivering them to people and communicating. Changing positioning was not something that I constructed or that I planned. At one point, I just discovered that how I pitch the box that I'm delivering has changed. That I have changed the wording, that I have changed the structure of the sentence. And when I inquired my own actions, I realized that this is me acknowledging the change in positioning that had happened inside of me. This was a really interesting and great insight, and I feel the most important of all the things that happened during the month of February. Thanks to my realization of how I'm positioning myself and the way that I want things to go from now, I have started to think about how I could scale the business, where would the possibilities lay for me of how I could present my work and what I could do for the companies, what help I could offer more than just these specific photo lollipops. I have had some great ideas. I have shelved most of them by now because I'm building the base layer, which are the lollipops, but I am at the same time able to build more high-end layers on top of this production layer. So in conclusion, I think that when January was about starting and really getting concrete about what I'm doing, then February was more about expanding and building and more structure. And I think that March is going to be about strengthening the base of the business, getting even more structured and building the business with intention. So at the moment, I'm having quite positive feelings about March. It's still in the very beginning and I have no idea how it's going to go, but let's hope for the best. See you soon.